This video is going to cover the editing of the audio from the video that we recorded last time. We're going to do it using Audacity. Got Audacity open, and I can just drag and drop my video on top of Audacity. Thing to note though is if you're going to drop videos in that have multiple audio tracks, you need to have FFmpeg installed. That's a separate issue and we won't cover that here. But we have it already installed, so we can drag and drop our video on. And then select, by holding Control, we can select multiple channels. Now the second and third channels were the channels containing our mic and our desktop audio separately. So we'll select those two but ignore the first one because that's a mix of the next two anyways. So let's first focus on the mic input. Let's click solo so it's only the only track that's affected. Click play to listen to it. Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3. The first thing we are going to do is to use the noise reduction plugin to get rid of as much background noise as we can. Now unfortunately some of the desktop audio fed back through the headset when it was recorded, but we should still be able to get an acceptable level of noise reduction. Let's use this first bit of audio as our noise profile. So highlight that, go to the Effect, Noise Reduction, click Get Noise Profile, click over to here to select the entire track, and go to Effects again, Noise Reduction again. Now let's click Preview to see how well it does. Test 1 2 3. So that sounds acceptable to me. So I'll click OK. And we can see that this area that was quite noisy before looks quite smooth. We can see we have some little areas that are kind of noisy still. They're quite low, but we should be able to get rid of those using a noise gate which will suppress any audio that's below a certain level. So again, select the whole track, under Effects again, and Noise Gate. The default settings should be good for our application. And you can see this noisy spot up here and the little spikes and stuff that was in these areas. They were taken out because there was nothing around them with a high enough signal to be considered useful. So let's listen to the whole of our voice audio again. Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3. And that sounds acceptable to me. There's one little click at the end. We can highlight that and use this button to silence it, and then other that we can call it good. The next thing, let's use the Normalize plugin to bring everything up to kind of a standard level, we'll call it. Okay. And then let's unmute the desktop audio. Let's listen to it on its own. Okay, that's enough. So let's use the normalize on that as well. So let's listen to them both together now. Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3. Test 1 2 3. Now, although we can hear the voice, the music kind of drowns it out. So there's a couple things we could do. We could just turn the level down on the music. Test 1 2 3. And that just kind of turns it into a background music. But what if we wanted to keep the level of our music up, but still be able to hear the voice, one solution is to reduce the volume of the music anytime the voice is present. And there's a plugin built in that allows us to do that automatically. So let's select our music track. The name of this effect is Auto Ducking. So we'll go Effect, Auto Duck. A few of the settings let's take note of. The duck amount is the amount the volume of the music will be reduced whenever the voice is present. And the threshold is the height that the voice has to get to before it causes the music to duck. And we have all of our fade amounts that determine how much before the voice starts that the music is going to be ducked, how much after the voice stops it's going to wait before bringing the level of the music back up. So let's just apply it and see how it works. Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Okay, so that seems to do the job we want. Except for let's say we don't want the volume to be reduced as much, and we don't want it to wait as long before coming back up after the voice is done. So let's just undo. Go to Auto Duck again. We can drag this in. Let's say we want it to come back on quite sharply after. We can even make it start coming up before the end of the voice. But let's leave it at coming back up sharply after the voice is done. And let's change our duck amount. If we wanted the volume to be affected half as much, we would add 3 decibels to that. So let's go from minus 21.6 to minus 18 instead. Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Let's undo that and run it again with even less. Let's only dip it maybe 6 decibels. Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Maybe a little more ducking. Let's go to 9. Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Test 1, 2, 3. Alright, so that sounds pretty good to me. The last thing to do is export our audio. Let's export it as MP3 to save space. But let's turn up our quality to a fairly high setting. Click OK. If you want to put in metadata, you can here, or you can just leave it blank. So now that we've fixed up our audio, the next thing will be to put it back together with our video. And we'll do that in the next video.